The story of being summoned to another world for the second time starts with the main protagonist Setsu telling his friend Yuhai to stop interacting with him as it might create some rumors about them. Seeing his long hair, Yuhai tells Setsu that he needs to get a haircut and she will give him one. Setsu is thinking about how the other world is doing when suddenly a magic portal arrives and teleports him along with his classmates to the other world Eclair. While everyone is wondering about what just happened, Setsu is glad that he finally got back to Eclair. Just when they are teleported, some demons start to approach the students. Afraid, Yuhai hugs Setsu, who then eliminates a demon with a flick of his finger without Yuhai noticing. The human army arrives soon after and starts fighting with the demons. Setsu notices that the demons are under some kind of a curse and gets excited sensing a familiar magic power. Elka, a royal knight, arrives soon after and takes the students to the nation of Dystinia. There, the king and the princess address the students and tell them that their kingdom is being invaded by demons. 5 years ago, a hero was summoned from another world to protect them, and that hero ended the war between all races, but after 5 years, they were invaded by demons again. The hero that protected them 5 years ago was indeed Setsu. Setsu ended the war and brought an era of peace before disappearing from the world of Eclair. The princess tells the students that this time, all of them are summoned to be the heroes that will protect this kingdom again. As the students don't want to get thrown out of the castle, they agree to train and help the kingdom of Dystinia. While the students are training, Setsu notices that Yuhai has a good affinity for magic. Afterward, Setsu has an encounter with Elka and slaps her butt to reveal that he was the hero that protected Dystinia 5 years ago. Elka failed to recognize him earlier as his appearance has changed since then and he has lost quite a bit of weight. Elka becomes a human chair for Setsu, and they later meet with Glean and Thea, who were previously friends of Setsu. When they are all together, Setsu tells them that he is happy to be home again. The others mention that they were waiting for him all this time. 5 years ago, Setsu had a battle with a villain named Tomah and disappeared from this world after the battle. He was then born as an infant in another world while keeping his memories and magic power. 16 years later, he is somehow summoned to the world of Eclair again. Setsu thinks that Tomah is behind this war and is using a curse to control the demons. After Setsu was gone, Elka and the others tried searching for him and Tomah but couldn't find both of them. After the king declared an all-out war against the demons, Setsu decides to leave the kingdom and stop the war by himself again. Using Thea's spell, they become invisible to get Setsu's equipment from 5 years ago. As he was about to leave, Yuhai arrives and tries to force Setsu to take her with him. Since he doesn't want her to get hurt, Setsu tells her how he is summoned to this world for the second time and manages to convince her to stay behind. Yuhai then gives him a haircut using her magic and Setsu goes on his journey to protect the world of Eclair for the second time. In his past life, Setsu bought a brooch from the best craftsman in the world of Eclair. The craftsman doesn't want to sell the brooch to a youngster that doesn't appreciate the work that goes behind it, but eventually gives it to Setsu when he gives him a huge amount of gold. At present, the craftsman is now dead. His granddaughter Ruri now sets on a quest to complete the last job for his grandpa that he accepted right before he died. On her way to deliver the item, Ruri gets attacked by a monster. She drops the item, which is revealed to be the brooch that Setsu bought 5 years ago. She collects the brooch from the ground and comes face to face with the monster, but luckily, Setsu jumps in and protects Ruri. Ruri thinks that Setsu looks like someone that visited their shop some time ago but just brushes it off. Setsu then agrees to act as her guard for no money. When they reach the port town of Marsen, Ruri asks a bunch of sailors to take her to the Demon Continent, but they all deny it as there is a war going on. In the midst of all these, a bunch of knights arrive and demand Ruri to show her identification. They then demand to reveal what's in her bag. When Ruri refuses, the knights try to take it by force, but Ruri intervenes. As they are about to square off, people start to notice the commotion, causing the knights to go away. Since she can't get the shape, Setsu tells Ruri that he will take her to the Demon Continent as he was planning to go there anyway. To spend the night, the two of them rent a room in an inn. There, Ruri shows the brooch to Setsu and tells him that someone in the Demon Continent requested his grandpa to repair the brooch. Seeing the brooch, Setsu remembers that he was the one that bought it but is confused about how it broke as he cast a protective spell on it. While they were sleeping, the knights that bullied them earlier arrived at their room. Setsu escapes from the window and goes to the god of the sea Levia, whom he has requested to take him to the Demon Continent. On their way, Ruri wonders who in the world she hired as her guard. After they reach the Demon Continent, Levia gets into a battle with a big squid-like creature, you can call it the Kraken. Despite Levia's cry for help, Setsu is just sitting at the shore as he wants to enjoy the kaiju showdown. After Levia defeats the Kraken, Setsu uses its body to make squid rings. Levia also gets into her human form and they all enjoy the delicious squid rings. There Levia and Setsu mention that the person Ruri is delivering the brooch to is the Demon Lord. Hearing about this freaks out Ruri. Setsu wants to go to the demon castle himself to meet Dezes, the Demon Lord. He invites Levia to come with him, but Levia gets angry and says that she is keeping the peace at sea for the last 5 years because of the promise she made him, while Setsu returns after so long and only treats him like a boat. As they were arguing, some children arrive thinking that the two lovers are quarreling, so Setsu just gives them onion rings and tells them to go away. As they can't let the Kraken's body go to waste, they decide to take its body to a village nearby. The scene then shifts to night where a festival is taking place and Setsu is making squid rings for the whole village while Levia is treated as royalty. Afterward, Ruri is freaked out yet again when Levia tells her that Setsu is the one that brought peace to all of Eclair. During that time, Setsu defeated Levia with a single blow and even brought peace to the sea. Meanwhile, Vlad, a personal guard of Dezes, arrives at the village thinking that it is under attack by the humans, but when he reaches there, he realizes that the villagers are just having a good time. Vlad tells Setsu and the others that Dezes is getting married to a man named Terran. During the ceremony, Dezes will wear a cursed necklace that will make her a servant and Terran her master. Vlad further mentions that the humans invaded them first, but in the human kingdom, they think that the demons attacked first. Taking advantage of this situation, Terran offered to marry Dezes and bring the conflict to an end as he is the richest merchant in the world. Knowing that Dezes is marrying that person all for the sake of achieving peace because of a promise she made to Setsu before, Setsu decides to go to the demon castle with Levia. Along the way, they battle a bunch of monsters. Setsu thinks someone is the mastermind of this war and Terran might know something about it. In the past, Dezes is fighting with Setsu, but Setsu tells her to put a stop to this stupid and gives her the brooch. Right before Setsu again comes back to this world, Dezes is notified by her guards that the humans are attacking one of their villages. Keeping in mind the promise of peace she made with Setsu, she tries to send some emissaries to the kind of Destinia, but none of them return. At this point, Terran approaches Dezes and tells her that he will use his wealth and company to end the war, but in return, she will have to marry him. He presents a curse of servitude in the form of a necklace to Dezes which will make her his servant. Dezes eventually agrees to the marriage for the sake of peace and the promise she made with Setsu. In the present, Terran is making his way to the demon castle along with a mysterious individual who is there because of the will of his master. Terran has made a deal with them as he wants the demon lord while the mysterious individual and his master want the demon kingdom. During the ceremony, right before she says her magic vows, Dezes wishes to see Setsu one more time, and lo and behold, Setsu arrives with Levia bursting through a window. He defeats a bunch of magic guards that were made with curses. The mysterious individual uses his shadow magic and subjugates Levia, but Setsu manages to protect her. The individual realizes that Setsu the hero is back and decides to slip away from the fight, as reporting this news to his master is more important than the fight. After they are done fighting, Dezes and Setsu talk about the war and think that Tomah is probably the one behind all this. Dezes wants to pay them back for making her wear this stupid white wedding dress. Setsu tells her that he will be going to the king of the Beastman, Regulus, as securing his aid would be really reassuring. Ruri arrives soon after with Vlad, and Setsu gives back the brooch to Dezes, who sends it to Ruri's grandfather for repairs. In the past, Setsu has always been there for Yuhai to help. When the time of choosing a school arrives, Yuhai gets sad as she doesn't have the grades to go to the same school as Setsu. Setsu tells her to just go to a different school and not go through too much trouble just to stay with him. After her nationwide mock test results came, it is revealed that Yuhai didn't get good enough grades. Some guys tell her to stop chasing after their studies and just hang out with them. Setsu arrives and makes the guys go away. He then agrees to help Yuhai prepare for the exam. In the present, Elka is instructing the students to test their magic on dummies and is especially surprised by the magical power of Yuhai. After the test, Yuhai approaches Elka and asks her to give her special training as she wants to be with Setsu as soon as possible. They go to the top of the castle where Elka spars with Yuhai in order to check out her powers. She thinks that Yuhai has the same magic power as her but lacks in something else. She then takes her to a sewer where a big crocodile monster attacks them. Elka tells Yuhai to kill the monster, but she couldn't kill the monster because of her righteousness. Elka tells her that she lacks the determination to do what must be done in order to protect those near her. Elka eliminates the monster and Yuhai goes to her room, and Thea arrives soon after. After healing her injuries, Thea tells Yuhai that she considers her one of them as Setsu looks at her the same way he looks at them. Thea then wonders why Yuhai wants to be with Setsu so badly. Yuhai tells her that Yuhai has taken care of her, so it's about time that she helps him in some way. Afterward, Thea goes out and meets Elka, who was eavesdropping on the conversation. Later in the training ground, Glein sees a depressed Yuhai and tries to talk with her. Yuhai asks Glein about his determination to fight and kill. Glein tells her that he would rather harm others than see any harm toward his loved ones. He thinks that Yuhai needs to find her own determination. After he goes away, Yuhai finally finds her determination. The next day, she asks Elka to take her to the sewers again to fight the crocodile monster. When the monster arrives, Yuhai temporarily immobilizes the monster, but doesn't kill it. She vows to never lose, but to never take any life either. Elka smiles and says that the answer is just like Setsu's. The scene then shifts to the king's throne room, where he tells everyone that they will leave tomorrow at dawn to battle the demonic nation. Setsu and Levia are making their way to a nearby port on a cart, with their ultimate destination being the Beastman Continent. Setsu doesn't want to wait and tells Levia to use transfer magic to send them to the port quicker, and after Levia can just turn into the sea monster. Levia tells Setsu that using transfer magic is too much of a hassle, as it requires a lot of magic power. As they were talking, suddenly their carriage stops, and two girls enter the carriage. Setsu is surprised to see the older girl, as she was his top pupil before. Her name is Elise, while the other girl is called Armel. Setsu invites her to the Beastman Continent, but Elise can't go there because of Armel. Sometime after Setsu left Eclair, Elise started to take monster hunting jobs. In one of her jobs, she goes to the village of Zathro to eliminate a dragon. She temporarily stays with Armel, and they both quickly become like sisters. Armel tells her that she has a brother who rescued her 2 years ago, but he hasn't come home since the day the dragon appeared. Every time the dragon attacks, some villagers disappear without any trace of them being left. To catch the dragon, Elise disables the ward against evil that is protecting the village in order to summon the dragon. When the dragon arrives, Elise manages to injure it, causing the dragon to fly away. She chases the dragon to finish it off, but eventually loses track of it. When she goes back to the village, she finds out that everyone except Armel disappeared. So now, she is traveling to take Armel to a city where someone will protect her while she looks for the dragon. Setsu and Levia decide to help her with her quest. They all make a bunch of weird assumptions about why the people are disappearing. Levia tells everyone that it might have been sirens that attract the sailors in the seas. Armel denies this and says that the sea creatures have a distinctive smell like Levia, and she would be able to detect any if they were in the village. Soon, their carriage is stopped as the water is blocking the way. Setsu finds it suspicious that only Armel survived in the village. He suspects her, as someone must have been using magic from inside the village. Moreover, no normal person knows what Levia really is, as she doesn't leak out any magic. Knowing that her secret is out, Armel transforms into a dragon and starts attacking everyone. With the help of others, Elise kills the dragon, although she is heartbroken by this. Later, she goes back to the village Zathro and visits Armel's house, while Setsu travels with Levia through the sea to reach the Beastman Continent. Elise suddenly hears someone and realizes that Armel is standing at a door with a bunch of monsters. She reveals that she has marionette magic and has turned all the villagers into dolls, as Tomah needs people for the upcoming war. Armel is just a made-up name, and her true name is revealed to be Melore, the monster master. In the Beastman Continent, a beast girl named Shirniko is traveling through a market and receives so many gifts that she is unable to carry all of them. She seems to be loved by the villagers, as she is the center of attention. She goes back home to her sister Maiko, who seems to be suffering from an illness. Shirniko gives her some medicine and sees that they are almost out of medicine. Meanwhile, Setsu and Levia are finding a boat to take them to King Regulus, but they failed to find any. He tells Levia that she will again have to act as a boat, but Levia wants to rest today to recover her magic. Elsewhere, Shirniko goes to Kuroinu to buy the expensive medicine for her younger sister. Kuroinu gives her another job to assassinate Setsu. She would get paid so much that she would never have to do another job again. Just as she showed her the picture, Setsu and Levia walk in through the door, as they need a room for tonight. Later, when they are sleeping, Kuroinu gives the keys to their room to Shirniko. Before going for the assassination, Shirniko tells Kuroinu that she is like a big sister to her. She then goes to assassinate Setsu inside his room. She slashes a sleeping Setsu and realizes that it was just an illusion. The real Setsu appears behind her and knocks her out through the window. Shirniko partially transforms into a beast in an attempt to beat Setsu, but she is absolutely no match for him. Setsu knocks her and realizes that she has curse energy around her, probably brought from the place where she lives. He and Levia take her back to her house. When she wakes up, she immediately tries to attack Setsu, but Mineko stops her by saying that they were the ones that brought her here. Setsu is filled in by Mineko and tells them that Mineko doesn't have an illness, rather she is infected by a powerful curse. Setsu uses his sword Glutton to remove the curse. Out of nowhere, a kunai flies in towards Setsu. As he is unable to move, Shire Nico comes in front and takes the blow for him. Shire Nico is shocked by the fact that Kuroinu is attacking her. Levia takes the fight outside and immediately overpowers her. When Levia threatens her, Kuroinu reveals that Tomah wants to become a god and kill everyone in this world. She then uses a magic ball to escape the area. While they were fighting, Setsu manages to remove the curse and the two sisters are finally back to their normal selves. Setsu tells Levia that Mineko was wearing the same necklace which was presented to Dezes. In the morning, Setsu and Levia take a boat as she is tired from all the fighting. On their way to King Regulus, they meet up with Shire Nico and her sister, who also wants to join. They think that Setsu will need their help to enter the royal capital of Rigdam. Setsu agrees and they all start moving towards their destination. In the flashback, Setsu is training the daughter of King Regulus, Roa. In the present, King Regulus's generals are arguing with each other about what to do in this war. Regulus senses Setsu approaching him and sends Roa to greet him. Setsu, who is at the gate, is having trouble with the guards who refuse to let him in. Roa arrives and immediately jumps towards Setsu from a high place. As the beastmen have a fighting nature, she immediately tries to fight with Setsu. Setsu immediately puts her down and they go together to meet with the king. Like Roa, Regulus too immediately tries to fight with Setsu, but the result is the same as in the case of Roa. After Setsu explains the whole scenario regarding Tomah to Regulus, he agrees to send Roa to help Setsu, but the general of his army and Roa's fiancé, Raga, refuses to let go of any manpower in this time of war. To determine what will happen, Raga challenges Setsu to a duel to determine if he can get military support or not. Regulus also reveals that the winner will get the right to marry his daughter. Setsu agrees with the duel even though he has no intention to marry Roa. At night, Roa approaches Raga to tell him that he is no match for Setsu. Raga tells her that he can't back down from a fight even though his opponent is someone as strong as Setsu. However, he thinks that he has some chance of winning as an Eastern mage gave him a magic rune on his right shoulder that converts strong will into strength. The next day, the duel commences and Setsu immediately starts to control the fight from the start. Raga completely transforms into a beast, but he is still no match for Setsu. In a moment of desperation, his magic rune gets activated and he starts to use his life force as strength. Levia realizes that Raga has Tomah's curse on him. She passes Setsu's sword to him. Roa soon joins the battle as well. Setsu realizes that the only way for him to safely defeat Raga is to devour the curse energy using his sword Glutton. But before he could do it, Tomah decapitates Raga and appears in the form of an illusion. Tomah is angry at Setsu as he always protects everyone except him. He wants to destroy the whole world only so he could live a life alone with Setsu. Setsu hears his stupid reason and calls him a yandere. Afterward, Tomah's illusion disappears and everyone tries to not get sentimental over Raga's death as there are more important matters to be taken care of. 10 years ago in the world of Eclair, Tomah and Setsu are summoned as saviors for the first time to protect their world. Setsu tells the king to not dump their problems on them but eventually agrees to help. Tomah finds it stupid to sacrifice their lives for a world to which they do not belong, but Setsu tells him that they can't just sit idle and watch the war unfold. After training for a while, he gets strong enough to go around the world in order to stop the war. They make a promise to each other to get strong enough and stop the war. While Setsu is away, Tomah is promoted to a knight and is given a title called the Silver Hero. Afterward, Tomah raids a temple with his officers and kills everyone there, including the one that dropped their arms and begged for mercy. After everyone is dead, he comes across a cursed locket. The locket tells Tom that she needs his inner desires and dreams and offers to grant him a power that will make his dreams come true. After he gets out of the temple, he is informed by a guard that the leaders of Eclair have agreed to sign a peace treaty. He then sees a carriage go by him in which Setsu is sitting along with most of the cast that we have seen through now. After the peace treaty ceremony, Setsu and Tomah meet on top of a castle. After a while, Setsu is told to come down by Elka as they are waiting for him to start a party. Before he leaves, Tomah tells Setsu that he has found a way back to their original world. He wants to go back there with Setsu as he is a yandere for him. Setsu tells Tomah that he finally has a chance to explore this whole world since the war is over. Moreover, he has achieved so much in this world and doesn't want to go back. Tomah refuses to accept what Setsu just said and tells him that he will kill every last human being in this world, so there will be nothing left for Setsu to see and protect, and he will finally go back to him. Tomah wants Setsu to give all his attention to him. He then starts to fight Setsu because he might as well kill him instead of seeing him go with others. During their fight, the collision of their blows causes a huge explosion that transfers Setsu to a new world as an infant, where he will spend 16 years and will eventually come to this world again. However, in this world, only 5 years have passed away. After the massive explosion, an injured Tomah goes back to the temple where he found the locket. The locket shows him the different people who are getting experimented on by humans, so they become war machines. Seeing that there are other people like him that are tired of this world and want to destroy it, Tomah goes to the laboratory in which those people are being experimented on and frees those people. After freeing all of them, he tells them to join him in his quest to destroy this world, as all of them are rejected by it. In the present, humans have started to land their ships on the Demon Continent's shores. Yuhai and the others decide to just do what is necessary and not kill anyone aimlessly until Setsu arrives. During the battle, one of the students that were summoned to Eclair almost kills a demon, but Yuhai steps in and stops him from doing so. Suddenly, some demons started to come from the portal which were seen when they were first summoned here. Elias, who is also hypnotized, starts killing the human and demons alike. Soon, Melore shows herself and tells everyone that she has turned Elias into a doll. Elka tries to talk some sense into Elias, but she fails to understand anything she says. Melore then summons a bunch of powerful monsters. Elka and the others quickly dispose of all her monsters. Elka pierces Miller's magic organ, which is supposed to stop her from using any kind of magic, but since her body is modified, she has more than one magic organ. As a last resort, she uses a limit breaker, which is the same power that Raga used, converting her life force into more power. With this surplus of power, she summons a humongous beast and fuses with it. Elka and the others struggle to deal with the magic power of this new beast, but luckily, Elias gets out of her hypnotization and stabs Melore's other magic organ, thus eliminating her. Right after this, the shadow magic power user, Keidru, arrives on the battlefield. Yuhai tells everyone else to go while she will hold off Keidru since she is the one with the least injuries. However, Setsu jumps at the last second and tells Yuhai to take it easy since he is here. While Setsu is battling with Keidru, Shireniko and Mineko battle with Kurauni. They try their best to force Kurauni to withdraw since Shireniko still considers Kurauni her big sister, but Kurauni ignores everything she says. After Kurauni gets cornered by the sisters, she tries to use Limit Break and completely overwhelms the sisters. As their last resort, the sisters reveal their secret technique. They fuse their bodies with each other and kill Kurauni. The scene then shifts to Weirdos, who is one of the people that Tomah rescued from the laboratory. He has a body of steel and doesn't care much about girls. As he vigorously smashes the humans, Roa arrives at the spot and starts her fight with Verdos. Verdos converts his body into small metal balls and completely obliterates Roa. Out of options, Roa uses the Beastman's secret technique, which allows a Beastman to burn their lives on the verge of death and take their enemies down with them. Roa smashes Verdos' body multiple times, but his body is so tough that Roa's knuckles started to bleed badly just by hitting him. After she manages to crack his metal body, Verdos shoves metal spikes through her, but Roa refuses to stop and delivers a fatal blow to him. Before dying, Verdos heals Roa because of her foolish pride. Seeing Verdos do such a noble thing, Roa asks him about his reason for working with Tomah. Verdos tells her that no one in this world will accept someone like him except Tomah. Hearing this, Roa tells Verdos that she will carry his pride for the rest of her life and goes away. Keidru, who was battling with Setsu, uses Limit Break himself in order to kill Setsu, but Setsu still seems to be too tough for him. Tomah makes his way to the Demon Lord's castle and starts fighting with Levia and Dezes. Setsu recognizes Tomah's energy and goes to the castle himself, only to find Levia and Dezes injured. The two start to fight and land some critical hits on each other. Tomah converts his sword into a big magic gun but fails to hit Setsu each time. He converts it again into a minigun, but Setsu again protects himself using a magic barrier, and then summons Glutton to absorb his attack. After he is overwhelmed by Setsu, Tomah uses a Limit Break himself and starts fighting with Setsu again. After a brief fighting sequence, Setsu manages to slash Tomah's chest. Tomah summons even more energy and summons an even bigger weapon. Setsu summons his magic barrier but fails to stop his attack and falls to the top of the castle. As Tomah is maniacally laughing at an injured Setsu, he gets up again and uses dimensional magic to trip Tomah. He then uses Limit Breaks himself and defeats Tomah with the help of Glutton. Because of Setsu's last attack, Tomah's locket breaks into pieces and he realizes the horrible things he has done until now. The scene then shifts to Tomah, who is locked in a prison cell. He is visited by Setsu along with Dezes and Regulus. As an atonement for his sins, Setsu tells him to teleport all the students back to their world and even return back himself to start a new life. However, he decides to stay instead as he wants to roam around this world and find ways to help people. In the end, all the villains are defeated with the help of Setsu's insane powers, friendship, and plot armor. Setsu then decides to travel around the world again, but this time, Yuhai is with him everywhere. That's all for today. How do you think the story of Summon to Another World for the second time proceeds from this point? Let us know in the comments down below. Do leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content.